Hello, beautiful strangers, and welcome back to another episode of Myth. When last we left off, I noticed a couple of strange things that were, as of yet, unmentioned. Hopefully they will be soon. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. It was also, let's see, Lily went off to do something on her own, and we talked to our parents, and I bitched about science, and I'm sure I was very wrong in that effect. But you never know, I could have been right. I am sometimes, I swear. But, yeah, let's get back into it, shall we? I guess I didn't get any new clues from them then. Sunset. Kiki held the Japanese sweets that we received from my parents as she said that. There's a possibility that they're lying. They wouldn't so readily talk about myth. All we heard was the basic stuff. I think we did the right thing by not pressing them, though. They'll definitely talk to you at some point. Meito, during the first time around, wrote as much. But I can't help but think about how what's written in the notebook is so different from reality. It's much more trustworthy than your parents are at the moment, though. I guess that's true. Plus... Yeah? Never mind. Didi? Where did Didi go? Kiki's voice drowned out Yuri's utterance. Right. It seems like she never showed up at the factory. Put my volume down very slightly. There we go. I wonder what happened. This is what cell phones are for, Kiki. I immediately stopped myself from saying any more, though. I recalled that Kiki's phone wasn't charged. Forgive me. Yuri shrugged. Damn. Well, I guess we have to head home first. What are you going to do, Meito? Yeah, I was worried we couldn't get in touch with her. We couldn't just stand around here. Alright, let's head back. Maybe she'll contact us somehow. Didi? Don't worry. Didi can take on even a crowd of guys. That's true, but... I was exaggerating, but it turns out that was actually the truth. I guess she's not back. I knew that was going to be the case because I didn't sense anyone around, though. It's with my arm, or with my shirt, technically. It's like sitting in the bend of my arm and rubbing in just the way that it's making my arm itch. Yeah, I guess it's just my posture, because I'm kind of leaning forward a bit. Wait, did I read that? I'll read it again just in case. Oh, no, I did read that. Where did Riri-san go off to? I lay down on my bed and started to think. There's only one thing she'd have to do in this world, and that would be to escape from myth. She has no other business here. She must have gone to visit my parents. I guess the most likely outcome is she got lost. Kiki's kind of a worrywart. Of course, this world's dangerous in its own right, but I can't imagine Riri would somehow end up dying because of that. The reason why Kiki called in the morning must have been because she was worried. The cell phone is mine. I bought it yesterday with Kiki. Battery? Oh, there was something about charging it on page 19 in the manual, so that's why it stopped working correctly last night. If it stopped working last night, then how could she have called in the morning? Who called Riri-san then? Huh? I heard a ringtone echo through the bed. Receiving. Yuri. Sign. Movement 6, Nightmare. Highly Heights Walkway, December 21st, 2016 at 4 something a.m. When I turned on the lights in the room, the smell of coffee permeated my nostrils. The nearly day-old beverage set on a newspaper had small white specks covering the surface. I have an email. Oh, okay. After I opened the curtain in the living room, I tossed out the unfinished coffee in the kitchen. Since I was in the kitchen, I opened a bottle of mineral water and guzzled it all down. I tossed my shoulder bag off like a shot put player and dove into my bed like a swimmer. You know, I've never been able to do that. I've always been paranoid about breaking my bed, even though I probably could, especially on my, not the last bed I had, because the box spring on that was kind of iffy. But I had a waterbed at one point that was like, and it had a reinforced frame, which I kept, which I don't have anymore because it's of other reasons. But it was a waveless, quote unquote, waterbed. So it was basically, two water-filled bladders wrapped in, or not wrapped in, but in a, basically with a couple inches of foam on all sides. Was that, in like super soft, like memory foam-esque, but not quite foam on top. And it had a reinforced box spring and everything. It was really comfortable. And I never jumped on that. I kind of, not jumped, but just fell into it or dived into it. I wish I did. Would have been nice. I loved that bed. I missed that bed. Wish I still had it. It was the only bed that I've ever slept in that I could sleep comfortably in any position ever. All except on my back, but that's for different reasons. Because I have allergies and sinus drainage is not fun. But yeah, I miss that bed. If it wasn't for the fact that nobody fucking makes them anymore, I'd probably buy one now, but... well. I didn't want to think at all if I could help it. Oh yeah. That option was always available. Even now, it was waiting for me. I could forget. Over time, the memories would be washed out and replaced with new ones. I could try forgetting tomorrow, for example, and that'd be the end of it. Then my life would be a lot easier. If I just enjoyed myself, overcame these hardships, and moved on, I'd be much better off than I am now. That's certainly the function of forgetting. It's the emergency escape option left to us by God to help us past our painful reality. We have it to help us keep living when there's nothing else to rely on. Oh, a visitor. Nice. I don't think Yuri's had a good visitor since we've been interacting with her. Does it feel like my voice is going hoarse for some reason? Yeah, I don't know. That's weird. The intercom began to ring while I was dozing off. For some reason, anytime I'm having issues with my throat, or I'm not having issues with my throat and it always starts when I'm recording. I don't know if it's because I'm talking significantly more or what. Or if it's the wine. That's also possible. But, yeah, I don't know. It's weird. Like, more often than not, my throat starts kind of going, not hoarse, but, yeah, whatever. And the incessant ringing of the bell stabbed at my ears. Yes. Sorry to keep bothering you, Hiro. Yuki. There's something I wanted to give you today. Go away. Slam. Giving myself up to something outside of reason, I slammed my head on the intercom's off button. You have an intercom that has an off button? Every intercom that I've ever used before, and I've not used a ton, granted. So I guess my experience is limited. You had to push a button to talk, otherwise you got fuck all. And it had a mute button, I think. Like, they had mute buttons, I think. But it was typically you pushed a button and talked. If you weren't holding the button, you couldn't communicate with them. They could only communicate with you. Just stop. It was driving me crazy. The artificial pressure on my eardrums. I was so mad I had the urge to break something. You could almost call it a type of obsession. Give up already. Ito, why won't you understand? Aren't we friends? I know we haven't seen each other in a while, but that doesn't change things, does it? However wonderful you think that place is, I disagree. Enough, Yuki. There are people who prefer shortcake and there are people who prefer chocolate. Do you get what I'm saying? Do you hate me now? I'm gonna call the cops. Slam. Silence returned to my room. The ringing in my ears continued, though, as chills ran up my spine. Breathing. Not gonna make a fucking ringing noise that time? Okay, thanks, game. Do you hate? Slam. I'm not gonna slam. This is a fucking smartphone. I'm not slamming shit. Stop already. You know, Yuri, Hito, whatever you wish to be called. You threatened to call the cops. Just fucking do it. Please open the door. What do you want? I want to give you something. Don't. A roaring vortex expanded in my head. I couldn't take it anymore. All I could think of was how much I wanted to get away. Just stop it already. I should have thought more about it more. I could have peeked through the door or called the cops. Finally, I gave it to you. Outside the entrance, Yukihime smiled. At first, I didn't know what she was talking about. But it didn't take me long to understand. Yuki's hands were stained scarlet. Sorry, I didn't want to do this. This being what? I was glad I'd get to see you, but they told me to do it. Who did? They won't give it to me otherwise. Why did it come to this? Well, that seems, well, bad. Day 6. Uni. Come to Tanabe Optics Research. Bring the notebook. Oh, it's just after midnight. Wait. Okay. So it's just after midnight, but the text was received at about 6? Roundabout? Yeah, a little before 6:30. Why did it take you about 6 hours to... I wonder if that's just an inconsistency, because the current time would be 12:36, and the time that the message was sent, or received rather, is 6:25. Okay, sure. Kiki was curious about the symbol that showed up at the top right of her phone's screen and asked me about it earlier. What do you think about this text? Okay, so that was... Is that the text? So that's from Kiki's phone. Okay, that makes a bit more sense. Okay. I'm sorry for doubting you, game. I was wrong. Something must be up. I agree. For someone who's not even familiar with technology in general, it's hard to imagine that Riri was able to send this text herself. It's possible that another person did. I mean, I get the sentiment, but at the same time, Riri's not dumb. So, you know. What about Kiki then? Yuri sighed. She wouldn't have been able to even read the text without me. Wait, she read the entire manual. So she should know how to do it just... Fuck. Okay, fine, whatever. I sighed too. I guess there was a large gap in technology between our two separate worlds. Let's save her, Mito-san. Kiki. If she's alone. Kiki. My tone was more forceful that time. Kiki's expression turned glum after that. I know what you want to say, but Riri is... I know. I'm not saying we shouldn't save her. Then we can't knowingly plunge into something that might be dangerous. Right, Meto? I ignored Yuri and continued. You bought that cell phone yesterday, right? No, I guess 2 days ago. You were with Riri the entire day, right? Yes, we were together until we parted with you two. Right. She hadn't told anyone her number yet at that point. Riri must have had whoever called her yesterday morning in her address book already, though. What's your reasoning for that? Riri said this to me as she looked at her phone. Everyone seems to want to make this simple in this world. Yuri. Meto signaled to Yuri to call Kiki's phone. Kiki, could you tell me your phone number? Kiki told Meto her number, then proceeded to dial it. 08012XX7211. Wonder if that's a reference to something that I'm just too dumb to get. Whatever. I'm just guessing, though. What does this mean? Did he put this person's number in her address book? It's proof that it's someone she must know, especially considering she's not used to using a cell phone. But we were together all day yesterday. I don't think she could have added another person's phone number then. Can it be Valkyrie? That's about the only thing I can think of. Could she be here as well, despite disappearing on the first day? Kiki, did you try calling Riri? I did as soon as I received that text. It didn't go through? Yes. Yes, it didn't go through, or yes, it did. Whatever. Kiki, could you lend me your cell phone? Meto took her cell phone and quickly typed up a text. What happened? Let's see what happens now. Why not come inside, though, for the time being? Meto went inside with a serious expression on his face. Yuri and Kiki followed behind him. The moment they sat down in the living room, the phone began to beep. Could you show me your phone, Kiki? Meto looked at her phone. She'll trade info for the notebook. Okay, good, the time is correct. Good. So it was just me being an idiot. That's good. At least we're consistent here. Who will? Why would she write this? That is assuming she actually did. To grab our attention, most likely. What if Riri actually wrote this, though? Kiki, there's no way she did. Odin. Meto-san? I'm still not sure. I replied after thinking for a moment. Is it worth losing the notebook over? Right. This was suspect. The notebook was our trump card. Riri-san must have understood that as well. So let's see how they respond. The situation isn't natural at all, assuming Riri did get in contact with Odin. Kiki wore a grim expression on her face. I tried to reason with her. That would mean she must have texted her, which isn't possible for someone like... Can you be so sure? As far as I can tell, the buttons are marked with the appropriate letters, and so long as you read the manual, sending it wouldn't be too much of an issue. You was using your phone yesterday morning, right? Did she say anything? I'm not sure. In that case, there's no reason to fret about this. Either Riri's sending those texts herself or someone else is. We just need to figure out how to deal with each situation. It'll be too late if we don't hurry. Kiki grumbled. Another text arrived. I think its info will only be able to get in this world, and it can only be gotten from Odin's mouth. This is related to escaping. You can either take this rare opportunity or stay away out of fear. Oops, I accidentally bumped my enter button again. That's a tough one. I thought about it. Info we can only obtain in this world. What could that mean? It's not worth thinking about the first possibility. It just means that Riri is trying to lure us out. But if it's the second possibility is what's really happening, ask about Riri. Huh? Please ask if Riri's safe. Sure. I wanted more time to think, so I decided to send another text. Would either of those put you in danger? Not that it was a worthwhile question to ask. We couldn't trust the answer regardless. There'd just be a 50% chance we'd calm Kiki down. That was all. The thing of note was what was sent earlier. Given it said it could only be gotten from Odin's mouth, it implies that Odin would be the one to actually speak of this information. Could we really trust what was written in that text, though? Think. How could Riri-san have confronted Odin? Riri-san took a chance, that much was certain. That's what we need to consider. They must have met in order to fulfill some mutual agreement. What I'm curious about is the balance of this deal, though. We might receive information that'll lead to us escaping from Myth. Odin will receive the notebook. Is the notebook really that important? With or without the notebook, I regained my will. That was something that was proven the first time around. If anything, our very will is what Odin should be aiming to eliminate. Right. Why wouldn't she try to remove that from us? Kiki's phone began to ring. I looked at it. I'll be killed either way. It seems I knew too much this time. Forget about me. Bring the notebook. That text blew away any shred of hope we could have that Riri would be safe. Kiki hung her head as she leaned back into the couch. Meito, if this is true, we need to be very careful. I knew what she was trying to say. Riri-san will be killed because she knew too much. The same could also apply to us. In other words, we could lose the notebook and be immediately killed right after. I wanted to avoid that at all costs. I'm going to ask if we can to see if we can receive the information before we hand the notebook over. Also, about our safety. Right, let's hear a couple of pages from the notebook, very carefully so they don't notice. Might want to use a razor blade for something like that over tearing them out, but I guess it does depend on the... Whatever. That's a good idea. That, at the very least, would guarantee that we can preserve something whether we return from this with new information or not, so let's... The cell phone wasn't on the table. Kiki was holding it. This is too much. Her eyes filled with tears. I gently responded to her. Kiki, I'm sorry about Riri, but we have other things we need to consider, for Riri's sake as well. How can you be so cold? Thinking so calmly, she might die. Do you want me to grieve over that? Do you just want me to go and try and save her when I just end up getting myself killed? That's not... Listen, Kiki, we're always right beside death. I've seen your corpse before in the past, for instance. Stop it. Quit holding hopes like that. You're being too unreasonable. And that's not it. I know that. I know what kind of situation we're in, but... Kiki glared at Yuri and myself. I had never seen her angry like that before. Is death really that simple of a thing? Can you really be that calm watching someone else die like that? It's not right. There are no replacements in real life. The fact that I didn't really think much of Riri during this whole ordeal, and the fact that I was thinking about how she could be replaced, made Kiki's words all the sharper. We're not living people right now, but in reality, we're real people. What point would there be if we abandoned our conscience in order to return to our previous selves? I know what you mean, but those words have no meaning in this place. We should try to save her. No, actually, I won't force you. I think I should go myself at the very least. Even if I'm being naive or dumb, I'm still human. Put my own life on the line to save Riri. That's just throwing your life away, and that's true for both the real world and here. Excuse me. Kiki stood up from the couch and immediately flew out of the living room. All I could do was watch as Kiki left us. Are you going with her? Going to prioritize that human within you? Throwing your life away for someone else is something that's purely driven by one's ego. She repeated herself as though ruminating on her words from before. But if you can love yourself in spite of that, then your death will have meaning. Eerie. Write out a few pages so they don't notice, then write down everything that's happened until now. Keep a pen with you at all times so you can write anything down. Do everything in your power to make sure you don't die. Think. I know. Let's go. It's time to exchange info and get Riri back. And I think this is where I'm going to end off this episode. Next time, well, are we going to try to get Riri back? We're going to try. Are we going to succeed in getting Riri back? And what of, Yuri getting stabbed and her timeline, future, whatever. But find out the answer to that and more next time. And I hope to see you all there.